He's like my son. Along with Kostas, along with Thanasis, along with Alex, they're like my kids. I was able to do officiate Giannis's wedding last summer. To this point, at 30 years old, 2 times MVP, Finals MVP, all this stuff, he's still a student of the game.
So Eurohoops would like to welcome Vin Baker. You're the guy that makes Giannis better.
No, I'm the guy that's fortunate enough to be around the best player on the planet. His work ethic is his work ethic. He was great before I arrived, but I feel like I play a part, as well as our entire coaching staff, and helping him get better daily. I think the talent that he possesses, not only as a professional athlete, but the talent to want to get better, is what makes us all great. So I helped him a little bit, but he's a great talent.
I think it's Vasilis Panelus that said that, but it's not that important. The quote says that Giannis doesn't want to talk, he wants to listen, and he listens to everybody. Is it like that?
Yeah, he's a sponge for information. I often compare it to a golfer. Like, he has the mentality of a golfer. Like, you see golfers they have swing coaches. Giannis is listens to basketball coaches as if they're like a swing coach. He takes in post information, dribbling information, shooting information. And not that he just takes it in once a month or once every 2 weeks. He likes to inquire about the game every single day. He's to this point, at 30 years old, 2 times MVP, Finals MVP, all this stuff, he's still a student of the game. If you explain something to him or have something to offer, he's going to listen to it and listen attentively, not just listen to give you a token ear, but he's going to listen to see how he can get better.
So it wasn't hard to convince him to work hard. Is it harder to convince him at some point that he has to take it easy or slow down because his body might hurt or something like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think he's getting to the point of his career where he's understanding. This is my 9th year coming with the Bucks, my 9th year with him. And when I first got here, for the first 4 or 5, maybe even 6 years, he was going hard every single day, games and practice, personal player development and practice. So now I think he's listening to his body more, understanding that rest might be even better than actually getting on the court and doing the work. So he's resting now. He's 30 years old. He's a husband and a father. So I think now he's getting to that point of his career that all of us has hoped for, that he doesn't go as hard with his player development, but he still works. He works as hard as anyone, or maybe more.
We've talked before the interview that you're like 4.5 months away from home. You're with Giannis. So it's Greece, then Cyprus, then Riga. And it's like the 5th year you told me that you're doing this with Giannis. You must feel like family with the Antetokounmpos right now.
No, he's, and I think he'll say this to you, he's like my son. Along with Kostas, along with Thanasis, along with Alex, they're like my kids. And as far as the work is concerned, yes, I'm here obviously with the Bucks organization and here with him. But it's that old adage, like, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. I have this great opportunity to be in Athens, a place I absolutely love now, and to work with the best player on the planet who works. And it gives me a chance. Interestingly enough, I get a chance to live vicariously through him. I played and was playing at a high level, but to watch the way he works and takes care of his body, takes care of his family, and improves every summer is something that I enjoy being around.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about yourself. I've read in Wikipedia, probably it's true, I think, your father was a reverend.
Yeah.
How was it growing up with a reverend? Because it's different, he's not a priest.
Yeah.
In Greece we have priests, but in the US we have reverends. How was it easy? Was it hard? How was it?
Well, I would say from the standpoint, hard being both my parents were very strict. Both of my parents came from the South. And I grew up in the North. So my parents were very strict, didn't allow me to go out and didn't allow me to move around. It was church, school, in basketball occasionally. They weren't really excited about that until I forced them to be excited. You can't be 6'11" and keep me in the house, right? So, but it was great though. I got my spirituality from my father. When I went through tough times, I was able to call back on that growing up as a kid in the church. And so and now I'm a licensed minister. So yeah, I'm following in the footsteps of my father. So it was great. It worked out for me. I wouldn't be where I am today, and gone through all the things I've gone through, good, bad, or indifferent, if it wasn't for me growing up in that household.
And now as a minister, what can you do? Let's say, because as I said, it's different in Europe than in the States.
I get a chance to, I've gone to seminary and I was a youth minister at the Abyssinian Baptist Church in New York. I was able to do officiate Giannis's wedding last summer. So there's a lot of things I can do, but there's also, I haven't been ordained to a reverend yet. But yeah, I hope one day to have my own church and to be a pastor.
Did you have to tell, do you accept her as your wife and stuff like that?
Yes,
or you were...
yes. I officiated the wedding. So I was the minister. It was my first one. It was challenging, nervous, but like I said, the great part about it is Mariah and Giannis are like my kids. That's my family. And so from that standpoint, it was easy and I was honored to do it.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the NBA. You grew up in a decade that is, and this is my thing, was amazing. But how different it is if you compare it now that you're living in the NBA, but from the coach's side?
From the coach's side, the game has changed so much as far as the shooting threes, how many players shoot threes on the court. It really, if you can't shoot threes as a 5, 4, 3, 2, or 1, you can't be on the floor. So, which is much different than the 90s when you probably had like 2 sharpshooters on the floor at one time, maybe on a roster. That's where the game is different. The game is much more physical was much more physical in the 90s. I think the players are in better shape today, just all the running that's done and then obviously the numbers that are put up. So it's a great debate, but obviously I'm going to stick with the 90s in that. Yeah.
It was so amazing because you had to share a court with Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, and all the great ones. And when you got to Seattle Supersonics, you had to fill up Sean Kemp's shoes. How was all of that for a player?
It was challenging. You know, first of all, Sean is my brother now. I love him. And but being traded for one of the greatest power forwards of his era was difficult. You know, the Sonics were 1 year removed from being in the finals against the Bulls. So it was challenging, but my first year, we had a great year, 61 games under George Karl. I love playing with Gary Payton. So Seattle's an amazing city. But it was daunting when I first got there.
You wish the NBA was then more alerted about the mental health issues of the players?
I definitely do. But I think the league has done a great job in understanding and getting ahead of mental health and also addiction. You know, with my situation and me having the opportunity to come back, and also some of the other players. I think Kevin Love has openly come out and talked about his issues with mental health. So the league has done an extraordinary job. It's something that it affects us as a community. It affects our country. It affects our world. And so I think the NBA has done an outstanding job of getting ahead of that and putting programs in place where players can reach out and get ahead of it and take care of it.
Mm-hmm. But how hard is it for a player, you know, to find balance on the NBA career and having issues, mental issues or addiction issues?
Yeah, it's not easy when you're taking young men, even now 18, 19, 20 years old, and they go from having maybe $1,000 to their name to having $10 million to their name. It's a shift in their lifestyle. It's a shift in the people that come around. And so you just have to have the things in place, the people in place to help those young athletes, those young players adjust. It's not going to change. This is a big business. Billions and billions of dollars are invested in this yearly. So you just have to have those things in place. And like I said, I think the NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball have done a great job in trying to support these young men. You now have college players getting NIL deals that are worth millions and millions of dollars. So the more big money that sports is, the more we're going to have these mental health addiction things in place. I've recently opened up a recovery center in Milwaukee called Vin Baker Recovery that's going to help with young people make these adjustments. And if you do get in trouble with these things, we have a place where you can go and get help.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if the word fulfilling is correct, but how fulfilling are you with the journey you've done after your NBA career and everything that happened with your life? And now that you are a coach for the Milwaukee Bucks, the guy that helps Giannis and all of that. If you look back, is it fulfilling, or is the word another word?
Yeah, I think that's the best word, is fulfilling. And because I'm in the ministry, it's a minor miracle, right? From where I was out of the NBA, I essentially lost everything, and then getting this opportunity to come back and work with the team that drafted me, work with the best player in the world, and then win a championship the first time in 50 years. It's fulfilling, rewarding, exciting, and I just feel tremendously blessed. And then to get this opportunity to come and work with the Greek national team and meet the great Spinoulis and be a part of this organization and this country in some ways, it's just been a lot of fun for me. I'm blessed.
Mm-hmm. I've chosen two moments from your career. The first one is Sydney Olympics. Yeah. It's the dunk of Vince Carter on Frederick Weiss. You had the best angle on court because you were the next guy. If Vince decided to pass, he would be the guy to get the ball. How was it? Did you realize what he did then, or did you have to watch a video after that?
No, I did. I had to watch the video of it because I joke with everyone. I'm probably the one human being on the planet that was disappointed that he didn't pass me the ball, because I was the one who kept the ball alive and ultimately got him the dunk. And I joke with him all the time when I see Vince. I always tell him, you could have passed that to me. Olympic points are hard to come by, and so I needed that too more than he did. So, but it was exciting being on the floor. It's something I can show my kids, my grandkids. It was super cool to be in that moment.
Mm-hmm. And the second one is that trip in North Korea, with Dennis Rodman. Can you guide us through that? How was that, and how did you decide to do it?
It was scary. I was actually in seminary at the time, and I got a call from a friend, Charles Smith, who used to play for the Knicks, and told me he had an opportunity for us to go to North Korea for basketball diplomacy. That's what he labeled it, basketball diplomacy. And I didn't realize it was not basketball diplomacy until we got to North Korea. And obviously, it became a very big deal with us not really supposed to be there, and Dennis, making this a kind of a birthday celebration. It was a difficult spot to be. Didn't think we were going to make it back, and even when we got back, it was difficult for a few months because people weren't happy about it.
How is Dennis? I mean, as a person.
Dennis is all the interactions I've had with Dennis has been great. I respect him as a player. He's respected me as a player. We've had a lot of battles. He's a very interesting individual, but I mean that in a positive way. He's very in tune with his surroundings, very smart guy, and obviously for what the world knows, very interesting guy. But if you get to know him personally, kind of a cool guy to have conversation with. He's very in the know, current events, old events. He's an historian in some ways. So I've had great conversations with him.
Mm-hmm. And last question, to return to the Bucks and Giannis. Everybody is speaking about his way of playing. He got shooting. He's dominant at the rim. Is there something we can expect from him to make us say, wow, he made that also happen?
Well, I think, at this stage of his career, he's shown that he can do everything. He's I don't think everyone knows he's a basketball savant. And so there are things that he already has in his repertoire that he hasn't even shown yet. Everyone talked about the mid-range last year. Well, he had the mid-range before that. He's just decided to start using it more. So he's just going to keep continuing to improve. And because he's already worked on these things that he's going to start to put into the game. And now he has different weapons around him, a younger team. And so when you put different talent around him, you're going to see different things from him. It's just the natural progression for him as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.